Hello and welcome back to Unisports. This is Revisit Mommy, and on my channel we talk about books, we talk about life experiences, and today, obviously, I am not with any book, and I am on my khaki. Yes, on NYC uniform, and it's a very special edition because this is actually the first official video that I'll be shooting here in this location, and it is most likely going to be the last because I'm just here to move my things. So let's go to the story. Today we're talking about life experience. It's a major lesson that I learned in my first 2 months here in River State, and the occurrence actually happened in Port Harcourt. So I got here on the 23rd of February for NYC. I was called to camp on the 23rd of February, and I arrived there on the 22nd, lodged at my boss's friend's place, which is at Waterlines. And if you're familiar with that area, it is in Lagos, it is in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, and it's towards estates. It's an estate on its own. So I lodged there, and on the 22nd I proceeded to NYC camp, Norwalk Bamtai, River State. And after my 21 days in camp, we came out on the 15th of March 2022. That was when we wrapped up with camping, NYC camping, and then we were posted to different places. So the first major experience was the fact that I missed my boss to my local government. Now, just today I was just connecting that, if I had not missed my boss, the boss that was coming to Oyigbo local government, that conveyed all corps members that were posted to Oyigbo, if I had not missed it, what happened wouldn't have probably happened. Because so now here is what happened. After I came out of camp, I missed my boss, so I had to enter another bus that conveyed me to a major bus stop, where I took the bus that was going to local government I was posted to. So when I got there, one of the teachers that took me in, I slept in her place over the night. And of course, there was the part of me stooling over the night because of the food, water change and all of that. So the following day, after my documentation, I went back to my host place, the first place I stayed when I came to River State. And subsequently, so I started arranging how to get a place, and of course how to bring my things down here from Lagos. So there was some of my things in Ogun State. There was also some of my things in Lagos, my parents' place, and of course my mannequins that were in Ogun State, the state where I schooled. So I was arranging how to do all of that, and then eventually by 1st of April, we finalized on how to convey all of them down here to Port Harcourt. And I called the person that was supposed to help me. It was a fellow corps member that traveled down to Lagos and was coming back to Port Harcourt. So I called them, I linked the corps member with my sister, and then it was supposed to help me bring those things. So when they arrived there in Port Harcourt, in a stadium room, Air Force, he called me that they had gotten there. So I was just going to the place to check if everything arrived safely and all of that. Meanwhile, my host told me my plan was to bring all of the things down to this present place I am, to this place that I'm shooting this video. But from that from Air Force to this place is about 1 hour 30 minutes journey, and the guy called me around past 8 p.m. Nigeria time. So meaning that by the time I arrive here, it will be close to 10 p.m., which is not really advisable that a young person to be outside by that time. So we then decided to just go and check the stores, make sure they are there, speak to one of the Liberal Motors people that will come and pick it up the following day, and then I'll go back to the house at Waterlines. So I was coming. Then my host told me eventually later that her spirit was telling her to tell me not to go, like to just call the guy, that he should help me speak to them and that I'll come and pick it up later. But she said she just ignored and just prayed briefly in her heart that God protects me as I was going out. So when I got to the place, I told the call member that I won't be picking it up till tomorrow because of the distance between the place I'm taking it and and also even before I go back to Port Harcourt, and if I'm staying here, the place is not just prepared for me to sleep over yet. So it was like, so he came all the way for me to tell me that he could have just told me that I should help you speak to them, and that would have been all. He didn't need to come, but I was like, it's late, it's just late to do that. So I went back. So first I was supposed to enter a cab back to Waterlines, but because he was going to charter a car to where I was going to, so I felt I should just follow him, to cut the expenses back to the house. So I followed him, and it was just, I shouldn't just have, because following him was like a wrong direction, totally wrong. And I ended up spending the same thing I would have spent had I left him to come all by myself. And sadly, I was going to enter cab to Ajib from Waterlines. I stood at the wrong place. I entered a one chance. It was just like, this place is too tight. It was at the front of the car. Meanwhile, there are two persons that sit by the driver. So he said, this place is too tight, that this tall girl, please move back so that a short person will come to the front. And we tried to open the car that I opened just now to enter. It didn't work again. So somebody from the back was trying to help. The other woman that was beside me was trying to help, and just like I came out of the cab and I was told, the driver said he's not going again, and he drove off. And before I knew, my bag was super light. I checked, my phone was gone, and it was quite painful. And after that, I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to admit to the fact that I was traumatized by that experience. But when my boss eventually messaged me that, hello mommy, how are you, and hope you're recovering from the trauma from your stolen phone, I was like, trauma? I'm not traumatized. But I didn't know that I was. How did I know? Then I moved my things down here, and when I got here, this is Afam, Oyigbo local government, Rivers State, Nigeria. So this is the place I rented, and when I moved down here, it's just me and the landlady. The landlady's apartment is somewhere here, while my own apartment is somewhere here. So it's just like a little, like we're not so close, but of course it is in the same compound. And my first night here, when the light was on, this place is where just the powerhouse, they have light almost all the time. But then when they take the light, they bring it back in less than 5 minutes. So the light was just on. The light in a self-contained. The light in the room was on. The light at the backyard was on. The light at the front yard, the mini balcony was on. And despite the fact, I was just so fearful. I was just super sensitive to sounds. Okay, so is somebody coming to rob me here? Are there people trying to climb the fence? Are there people trying to come in from the backyard? I was just so traumatized. Now, this is the first time my phone, I was robbed of my phone. I never lost my phone, but from the beginning, when it all happened, I didn't feel bad and I didn't feel anything. In fact, I didn't feel like I lost anything. But then, subsequently, I just became fearful, and it's not just funny. So the first day I stayed there, it was like that. The second day, in fact, I felt sick at some point. I started stooling all over again, and then on Sunday I couldn't go to church because of that. And then on Monday I went for clearance. I came back, but I just totally lost my peace staying here. So I had to talk to someone. Okay, somebody just messaged, another call member messaged me whose PPA is farther, from here he has to go this way, another 1 hour 30 minutes or 2 hours, while mine is down here another 45 minutes from here. So meaning that this location is quite good for him. In his own PPA, they don't have lights, no power supply, no water, nothing like nothing like the basic social amenities. But down here in my own PPA, there of course there's power supply, there's water and other regular social amenities. So he just messaged me that I needed an apartment. In fact, I had spoken to my landlady that somebody needs an apartment, like a self-contained, and the plan was for her to work on the next self-contained that was beside my own self-contained. And then the following day I just thought about it and said, well, you can as well take my own place while I move out of the house. And that was just what I did. I messaged the guy, asked him if it's okay for him to move into my own place while I move out, and then he would pay to me, like meaning that I'll be giving my rent back. And that was what we did. Since then, I've packed my things. I'm moving them out like after now, but it's been an experience. Even afterward, I traveled down to Lagos. My sister's wedding was on the 23rd of April, so I traveled down to Lagos, and I came back just yesterday. And all through the wedding, something I thought it's been an experience since the last video I uploaded. Like, it's been an experience. In all of this, I hope you can just learn one or two things, or you probably have a word for me, like, okay, what I could have done better to get a better result, to have avoided having the experience I actually experienced. So on my sister's wedding day, I arrived home like few days to the wedding. My mom's clothes was not ready. My dad's clothes was not ready. The clothes they wear on that day, my own clothes was not ready. I didn't even have any attire to wear to the wedding. My younger sister's clothes, Maria's clothes, was not ready, and my sister was still sewing her own clothes. And so when I got home, the plan was for me to sew my mom's clothes, my own clothes, and Maria's clothes. And so when I got home, my mom eventually went to the market to get our clothes like 2 days to the wedding. So I sewed the first one, the one she wore to court. I sewed it. The court was Friday. I sewed that one on Thursday, so like that was over the night till Friday. And then that same day, immediately after I finished sewing my mom's clothes, I gave it to her. Then I went to have my bath. I was just settling down to eat when the groom arrived that it was time for us to go to court. Idimo, court. So I had to just quickly pack up. I was supposed to go and officiate as a photographer at the court. So I took the camera is just right here. I took the camera and then followed them to the court. When I got to the court, where my mom and dad wasn't there, so I had to go back home to check if they, before I go back to the court, they were already there. So I went back. I officiated as photographer. Then when we got back from the court, guess what? I had to sew the clothes my mom was going to wear on Saturday for the wedding, for the traditional wedding. So I quickly went to the markets, went to buy the materials, came back home to sew, to cut, and then I started sewing. So I sew over the night, Friday stroke Saturday, my mom's clothes, which leaves out my own clothes and Maria's clothes. And then I started, in the midst of this, I was still doing some house chores and running some errands, maybe few errands. So I cut my own clothes, cut Maria's clothes, started sewing both. It was supposed to be a gown, so I'd already sewn the down part of the clothes for both of us. Then it was left with the upper part. So I started sewing the upper part, and guess what? They started the wedding, and I could not leave because I didn't have a clothes to wear. Maria didn't have a clothes to wear, so I had to finish sewing before going for the, or else I'll just go in the clothes I had been wearing all the while. So I continued sewing. They started the wedding, the introductory parts and the reading of letter, all of those, and I was still sewing. I eventually had to persuade Maria to go to wear another cloth and go, but I didn't have anything. But now that in retrospect, I just feel that I could have just worn one of the random clothes at home, because why? It was my sister's wedding and not mine, and I was just supposed to be there to support her, not to show off any dress. So guess what? I didn't get to the wedding till like close to the end of the wedding, and a lot had happened before then. That's one thing I regret most in my life. Like, number one, like a major regret of my life, one thing I did wrongly, that I didn't do right. I could have just left all the clothes I was sewing and just wear anything and go to be by my sister's side to support her. this is one thing that almost cost me tears. It caused my sister tears. Like everything, things that happened because we went there, because myself and Maria went there early enough to support her. I regret it so much. So just to say that it's not really about, it's just about being there for each other, basically. Whether you have the money or not, whether you have the resources or not, your presence alone means a lot. So this is one major lesson for me in this whole year 2022. It's my sister's wedding, our only wedding, once in a lifetime event, and I missed out on the most part of the wedding because I was busy sewing clothes that I was going to wear, when I could have just worn any clothes at home and just be there for her. It's caused her tears. Like, she shed tears because of what happened, and I regretted not being by her side. Now I'm back in Port Harcourt. I arrived yesterday. The wedding was on 23rd of April 2022. I came back to Port Harcourt 3rd of May 2022 because we're going to have clearance today, which is why I have my NYSC uniform on. Okay. So today I missed out. That same day that was my sister's wedding was a national CDS day when all core members were supposed to go out for sanitation, but obviously I was in Lagos for my sister's wedding. And then today I had heard the news of people that were giving query letter because of their absenteeism from the national CDS. And you know, I wasn't fearful. I wasn't scared that they were going to give me a query letter. I just had a natural mind and I came. I met one of a fellow core member who is also batch A stream 1 2022, and she was so worried that they are giving people query letter because of their absence in the last national CDS that held on 23rd. And the only thing I told her was, don't be worried, that you don't know what is going to happen. They might not query you for not coming. They might not even notice that you went there. So don't be worried. And lo and behold, when I got there, I heard the woman announce that, okay, if you are batch A stream 1, please this line. And then another person told me, I asked the one other lady that, are they querying people for not coming for the national CDS? And lady told me, are you batch A stream 1? I told her, I said, you people don't have problem, like, people are excused. I asked the lady in front of me and she told me, but they didn't expect us to come. We're not supposed to come on that day. Like, batch A stream 1, we're not supposed to come. And I was super happy. Meanwhile, other things that happened before then, like today, I fell on the main road trying to cross. Also, what happened? What else happened? Something else happened. Aside from falling, I'm okay. The conductor, the agri that wanted to collect money from our conductor, you know, was carried past his bus stop. In fact, in Naga, he threw a big stick on the bus and the window could have broken and hit me on my eyes, but it didn't happen. Then my clearance and my falling on the road. All these are testimonies. And of course, again, I hope you've learned one or two things. This is our farm, River State, Nigeria, and I'm packing my load today. Packing it finally today. I'm going to come out again for another shoot, but before then or till then, I like it to stay blessed and keep it locked on my channel. Give it a thumbs up, this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and share with friends. And of course, I want to see you subscribe to my channel. Like, that will mean a lot to me. And subsequently, I also have a book I want to talk about, King of Thoughts, that is majorly on greed. So it's like, come up again. I'm mommy. Bye.